Hey everyone, it's Don with Don's Field of Dreams cards. So every morning I like to play that game called Immaculate Grid. It comes out from Baseball Reference, and I get emailed it, and there's categories, and you have to match them up with players. And one of them the other day was one of the columns was guys that only played on one team, and that got me thinking, like, what's the best team out of the cards I have that I could put together that only played on one team? Now, I don't have any Lou Gehrig cards. I don't have any Joe DiMaggio. Don't have Ted Williams anymore. So I'm not saying this is the best team ever put together that played on one team. It's just based on the cards that I own. But it's a pretty darn good team. I'm just curious to see what you guys think and maybe what team you could come up with. So let's get started here. I'll show some cards, and that's another reason I'm doing this, just to show some cards. So first base, I could have went, I thought, with Harmon Killebrew, but then I remembered he played for the Royals, so that knocked him out. So a little hometown favoritism here. I went with Willie Stargell at first. Thought about Bill Mazeroski at second, and shout out to him. He just passed away in the last week, and same with Roy Face. So with these two passing, there is only 3 living players from the 1960 World Series. But second base, went with Jackie Robinson. Can't go wrong there. Honestly, I don't feel like I can go wrong with a lot of these. Shortstop, I thought about Cal Ripken, but I wanted to show vintage cards. So I went with Ernie Banks. Let's play 2 from one of my favorite sets. You're going to see one more card from this set. Third base, could have went with Brooks Robinson. Could have went with George Brett. Both would have been great choices. But decided to go with Mike Schmidt. And for some reason, he's like one of those players, you know his middle name, Michael Jack Schmidt. I guess maybe in Philly, they called him that all the time. And another one of my favorite sets. First set I started collecting as a kid. Catcher was another tough one. I have Yogi Berra's cards. Oh, Yogi played for the Mets. Forgot about that. Okay, Yogi Berra, no good. But Roy Campanella, I could have gone with. Thurman Munson was a pretty good catcher. Got his cards. But went with Johnny Bench. And I love this card. This is one of my, not just from this set, one of my favorite cards, but one of my all-time favorite cards with the dust going up. But Bench looks pissed. Probably someone just slid in. Okay, starting pitcher. Went with Sandy Koufax. Was thinking about Warren Spahn, but then I was like, I think he played for the Mets towards the end there. So there's so many of these guys you just forget about. Like I said, Killebrew with the Royals, Duke Snider with the Mets, Spahn. You know, they spent like that 1 year. Hank Greenberg spent 1 year with the Pirates. So a lot of guys that you kind of think, hey, yeah, they'll make the team. But then you remember like, oh, man, that's right. They played for someone else. Best reliever of all time, Mariano Rivera. Yankees. So we'll go to the outfield. Of course, going with Stan the Man in left field. The other card I was talking about from that 64 Topps stand-up, Mickey Mantle. Such a great card. Although I love every card from that set. And no surprise in right field, Roberto Clemente. So then I thought, I got a couple other guys that I want to get in here and show their cards. And so for DH, I went with a right-hander and a left-hander. And the right-hander I went with Al Kaline. I believe Al went right from high school to the major leagues. I don't think he even played in the minor leagues. And then this guy could have been my first base choice. Could have put him in the outfield, but I wanted to include him on the team. So I made him my left-handed DH, and that's Carl Yastrzemski. So just curious to see if, maybe make a video. You don't have to. This is on VR, but if you feel like doing it, it's just another idea of how to show some cards, and I thought it was fun. And you know, gosh, nowadays the chance of someone playing for one team, Tony Gwynn's another one I could have thrown out there. Just don't see it happening very much anymore. You look at the greats and how many times they moved around, and even guys like Pete Rose and Joe Morgan and Tony Perez, of the Reds, and Dave Winfield was on a ton of teams. Reggie Jackson was on a ton of teams. Like at the end of their careers, like you think of Phil Niekro as a Brave, but yet he played for the Indians and the Yankees, and Don Sutton, Eckersley, Gaylord Perry, like that whole set. Jim Palmer's like the only one that I could think of from that era that stayed with one team. Tom Seaver bounced around, Steve Carlton bounced around. All great pitchers from my childhood, but towards the end, they were just hanging on to probably get the 300 wins or the 3,000 strikeouts. So with that, I hope you enjoy seeing some baseball cards tonight, guys and girls. And thanks again for watching my video, and I'll talk to you soon.